Hi guys, welcome back and happy Monday. It seems that most of you are at the tail end of your day. I'm still kind of in the middle of mine. So congratulations on making it through another manic Monday. So I want to jump right into it. I've already tried to do this video 3 times and I ran over my time every single time. Y'all, I have so much to say about this. So let me see if I can kind of condense it, and then you take it from there. Leave me a comment, a like. If you have to give me a dislike, go ahead. But if you dislike something, you have to leave me a comment as to why. All right? Is that a deal? Hopefully that's a deal. All right, so let's get right into this. Football and kneeling. Okay, I know the second I start talking, some of you are going to just want to turn me off, but give me a chance, okay? I feel like I can clear up so much confusion on this topic, all right? Guys, we care about police brutality. We care about what you're trying to bring awareness to. All right, I am so sick of hearing the argument, I'm not listening, and I don't care why. I am listening. I just don't care why, because I understand that as a private business, they have a right to dictate employee behavior on the clock. I'm also aware enough to know, especially since the NFL has a union, that their union is there to protect them against anything that may be unfair. And I gotta admit, guys, the union has been pretty consistent with the NFL in how a lot of these stories have played out over the years. You can't pray, you can't wear your own colored cleats, you can't wear different socks, you can't even have a sewn-in patch on your jersey for breast cancer awareness. I think the NFL has been pretty clear on where it stands on its players and how far their freedom of speech stretches. And unfortunately, guys, whether you agree or not, the NFL does not have to let players protest their personal grievances or bring personal issues to the front and center while at work, okay? Now, I would like to give you all a perfect example of what would be acceptable. When I use this example, people accuse me all the time of not understanding what they're protesting, okay? I know what they're protesting, or better yet, what they're trying to bring awareness to. All right, this is just purely an example of what would be protected under free speech and your job. The anthem is already a big, huge controversy amongst NFL players and some of their fans. They call it getting involved in politics. Okay, first of all, I don't think the NFL was trying to get involved in politics when they started using the anthem at their games. It was a purely money-motivated idea that basically caters to the patriotic fan. It helps with the military having that endorsement, able to, you know, advertise to the younger kids coming up almost on 18 about, you know, where they would like to take their life. So the NFL has kind of made a stand on whom their fan base they cater to is, and it's the patriotic fan. I mean, football's America's sport, all right? So now you have the anthem, and now players are like, wait a minute, I don't like this. I don't like how it's affecting the environment in which I play the game. You talk to a couple different players about it. They seem to have the same opinion. You all decide that the anthem played at games affects the environment in which you work in. You have every right to protest that. You have every right to protest that at work. The union will absolutely allow, and I can't even say allow that protest because they really can't say anything about that. They have a right to protest work conditions at work. So if players in the NFL said, we don't like the anthem played at our games, we don't like the environment in which it creates playing the anthem at our games, we're going to protest this work-related environment issue until owners and the league and the union come together and help us work this out. Perfectly acceptable. Perfectly protected. Okay? What is not protected is these players' rights to bring whatever grievance, protest, awareness to their job that they want to. You just can't do that. I'm sorry. As much as you guys are stuck on why they're kneeling, that's not the bottom line of the NFL. And the NFL has proven time and time and time again they're going to side with their bottom line. This is not a black issue. This is not a white issue. This is not a brown issue. This is a green issue. And the NFL and the entire league, all the owners, and even the players should want their bottom line protected. I mean, you can't go signing multi-million-dollar contracts if you don't have multi-million dollars to give these players, you know. So that's what I'm saying. A protest about work, at work, okay. A protest not about work, not work-related, brought to your job that now affects your customer and fan base. This is why they have certain rules. This is why they have certain regulations. This is why they have stuff that they promote, sponsor, endorse already. Anything outside of what the union and the NFL has agreed to has to stay off the field, off company time. If you had a business and your employees did something that caused your base not only to split, but to divide and fight against each other, wouldn't you want to be able to change the dynamics of what's happening in your business so that it doesn't affect your customers and it doesn't divide them and cause them to fight with each other? I don't see what the problem is by telling these players, keep your stuff out of the NFL's time. The NFL pays to broadcast, all right? And if you want to broadcast during their football game, that's what an advertisement slot is for. A lot of you players are yeah, y'all know you got the money to just put up a quick ad that'll go up during a football game. Because that is the argument, that they have to do it there because that's where the biggest audience is. No. You could absolutely get to that same audience if you paid for a spot to be played during the game. Alright? So, don't tell me that that's the only way to reach the entire base of football, is by kneeling for 3 minutes before the game starts. There's other things that you can and you should do to better market what you're trying to get people to jump on board for, and something that's not so controversial that people aren't even talking about your protest. They're not even bringing awareness to what you want them to bring awareness to. No, we're talking about the anthem and the fact that you're kneeling. So it's not doing what you expected it to do when you started this. And now that you've seen the backlash of it, to continue to support this kind of BS action while you're working, you're looking more entitled every single day. You guys make how much money, and you still have to use the NFL, their platform, and their fan base, and piss off that fan base to put your message out there? There's no other way you can put your message out there without hurting the very people who sign your paychecks every season, or however that crap works. You know what I mean? Social media, advertisement spots, rallies, cook-offs, you know, anything to just kind of bring the public together to make a light and make awareness to a situation you feel is important. So it's only important enough to kneel? Because I'd like to know what you guys are doing besides that. I know our president has asked for names of those who have suffered at the hands of our justice system being, you know, a little corrupt in how the police handle certain people, how judges hand down certain sentences. I mean, if you really want to get the public involved, show me somebody. Do like the president asked. Give us names. Give us real stories of people affected by this and how we can help their situation out. We're aware, guys. I mean, we're more aware now than we've ever been in our entire lifetime. Okay? All of us have Twitter feeds. All of us have Facebook feeds. All of us have YouTube. Okay? You could put your message out there 7 different ways just off the top of my head. So, to keep going with a narrative because it's controversial doesn't necessarily mean it's helping your cause. And if that's really what you're trying to do, is grab awareness and let people see just how bad the situation is, kneeling for 3 minutes before a football game doesn't even begin to touch the surface of understanding what is it you're even doing when you kneel. You're kneeling and it goes without explanation unless it's been put all over the television 100 times. Let's just say, you know, Encino Man just came out of the ice and went to his first football game this weekend. You don't know what the hell it means for that person to be kneeling at the anthem. You know what I'm saying? So reach your audience in a way that you can get with the people and they see what your message really is about. Because this whole kneeling has turned into a conversation about everything else but police brutality. Okay? But again, we're aware. I mean, we're more aware than we've ever been. We have almost, I mean, we still have a ways to go, but almost all police officers are required to have a chest cam or some type of body cam, a camera in their car that has to be running the entire time they're on duty. Okay? Every day, more police officers are saved by their cams than most people pulled over by the police. So not only is the awareness coming out on police brutality against civilians, but the police brutality against our police officers because of us. You know what I mean? Like, our police officers literally have to have these cameras for allegations brought up against them all the time. And most of the time, when the whole story ends up coming out, the person who screamed the loudest about police brutality was the most guilty of being a jackass to the very police officer who arrested them to begin with. Look at the woman who said the police officer raped her about, like, I think it was like a month or 2 ago. It was a state trooper, I think, too. Accused him of pulling off onto a side street before taking her in and raping her. If you heard her story, even without a shred of evidence, you would have been wanting to believe this woman hook, line, and sinker. She was that convincing, y'all. If you did not see the video, if you did not see her story on what happened that night, you'd believe her. I'm telling you, you'd believe her. And the cop was the one exonerated in that situation, not the other way around. So if you want to talk about awareness, we also need to be just as aware of what civilians are doing to police officers, okay? I am not giving excuse to police officers to brutalize anyone. My point is most of the time when these officers are accused of brutalizing or being unfair, when the rest of the video comes out later, you're stuck with realizing that that person did 7 different things to get the physical engagement with the officer that they, most of the time, deserved. Okay? So, not saying there's not police brutality. There is police brutality. It's against more than just black. It's against whites. And it's more so against whites. Mathematically speaking, that makes sense anyway. The black population is what? I think 13, 14%. Okay, so more white folk are getting pulled over by police, first of all. Second of all, more white people are getting shot by police. Third of all, officers are now so aware of the whole police brutality accusation, they're less likely to shoot a minority than ever before. So don't say we're not aware. Don't say things aren't changing, because they absolutely are. But if you would like to continue to be a part of real change, it doesn't start by kneeling and pissing off half your fan base, and then the other half left not even understanding what you're doing, and then maybe the rest of those people have your back for whatever reason. Some people have your back because they think they're protecting freedom of speech somehow. Some people have your back because they're more concerned about the attention you're bringing to the subject at hand. But the bottom line is the NFL doesn't have to worry about any of those things. All they have to worry about is their bottom line, their union guidelines and rules, the expectation of their players, and dealing with their sponsors and advertisers. Okay, they don't have to take on every social justice cause on the planet because they're the NFL. Okay, they still have rules, they still have regulations, and they still have guidelines to follow. And if kneeling during the anthem is not one of those approved guidelines, then by contract you have to stand. And if you don't, you're going to receive the backlash from the public, from the police, from first emergency responders, period. Okay? Again, we may have a problem that you feel needs to be addressed right here, right now, and that's fine. But you need to do it another way, guys. You need to keep it off the football field. Seriously. Like I said, I'm sure you have more than enough money to pay for a spot to advertise during the game, and maybe not even during the game. So, maybe it's time to take your awareness to the next level, because now we really are at the next level anyway. More people are aware, more people are talking. It's become something that affects the daily process of our police force every day. If you're waiting for there to be a 0% on police brutality, you're in luck. From what I understand, the numbers are so low, we could probably get to that point. Can we get to that point tomorrow? No, absolutely not. Is your kneeling at every game going to get us closer to that? No, it's not. But you being involved in the community could. Having rallies in your community. Joining the police department. Hey, why don't you get out there and volunteer and see exactly what it is our officers are dealing with on a daily basis. You're not even getting a fourth of the picture. Okay? There's so much more that you guys don't see. Half the time when we're watching videos, we're only getting part of the freaking story. Like the first 20 minutes got lost somewhere. You know what I mean? And then when it finally surfaces, once everybody thinks everybody forgot, everybody's kind of stuck with the original story that somebody was unfairly brutalized, and they never hear the other end of the story to recognize that person duped you, right? So you want to start talking about police brutality and who's greatly affected by it, we surely can have that conversation, but it needs to be had off the football field, and it doesn't need to involve our anthem. Our anthem is for everyone. Our flag is for everyone. Well, American citizens. It's what's supposed to bring us together. It knows no politics, okay? It just is, and it's for us. Our anthem, what makes us proud, you know, Americans, and to see people use it for a personal protest, you're gonna get a reaction from the people, and I think the reaction is pretty clear. And I think the NFL's stance on how they treat their players is pretty clear. And this is another situation where we have unregulated protests on the football field during the NFL's time. And that's not how you run a good business, guys. If you had a business and your employees went rogue and they started yelling freedom of speech, wouldn't you want some kind of control because it's your business? This is no different because it's the NFL and they're rich white men, okay? It is what it is. They're successful for a reason, based on certain decisions that they make for the betterment of the business. And the NFL is just not in the business of taking on every single issue in the world. It's picked the ones that they endorse and that they bring attention to, and the rest, honey, y'all just got to do that on your own time. And it's not a black or white issue. It's a green issue. And if your money was being affected, you would want the power to be able to make that change just the same. And if you say that you wouldn't, I don't think I'd believe you. Sorry. So that's where I stand on the situation. It's not about being ignorant to the cause or not being sympathetic, but it really is just understanding the guidelines in which how we run a successful business. So that's what I think. Give me a like. Try not to give me a dislike. But if you do, definitely comment why you disagree. Subscribe, share, and I will be back tomorrow with another hot topic burning up the internet. And as always, guys, thanks for pushing play and making me a part of your day. Bye!